And as far as the rehearsals that we're discussing, would these be morning, afternoon, night? When did these take place with Michael's involvement?
Almost always in the afternoon, later part of the afternoon into the evening.
Okay. And typically, how long would they last as far as Michael's involvement?
I would say between 5 and 7 hours, typically.
Now, would that be 5 to 7 hours of physical performance rehearsal or all aspects of the production?
Yeah, never full physical. All aspects of the production. Discussions, meetings, decision-making, and rehearsal.
And as a co-creator with Michael, if agreement wasn't reached on a particular creative idea, who had the last word?
Michael.
Okay. Now, was there a period of time in June? Well, let me ask you this. Do you know Conrad Murray, or were you introduced to Conrad Murray?
Yes.
Do you see him in court here today?
Yes.
Could you identify him, please?
It's the gentleman sitting right here at the table in the gray suit.
22 and identifying the defendant, Dr. Murray.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
When did you first meet Conrad Murray?
I met Mr. Murray at Michael Jackson's house forget the name of the street, excuse me.
On Carrollwood?
Carrollwood, thank you.
Okay.
I met Dr. Murray there. Michael introduced me to him one day when I came for a meeting at the house.
Okay. And do you know roughly when that meeting was?
I would say early in our creative process together, April or May.
Okay. And the creative process kind of started around mid-April?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe mid-April to the beginning of May?
Again, I would be guessing.
Okay.
It was during the creative, I went to Michael's house for a creative meeting, and the doctor was there, and he introduced us.
Okay. But I guess linking it up to maybe where you were at the stage of rehearsals, if it was were you at the Burbank Center stages?
I would think we were still at Burbank, and I think I would call it the earlier stages.
Okay. So April or May of 2009?
Yes, sir.
And this was at Michael's house on Carrollwood?
Yes.
And was Conrad Murray introduced to you as Michael's personal doctor?
Yes. Michael introduced me as, this is my doctor, Dr. Murray. And we said hello.
And was that pretty much the extent of your meeting with him on that day?
Yes. It wasn't a meeting, it was just an introduction.
Okay. And would Conrad Murray come to the rehearsals from time to time, from what you saw?
On a very limited basis, but yes, he did come.
And would this have been at the 3 locations you've described, or are there certain locations you recall?
No, I never remembered him visiting us at center stages in Burbank.
Okay. Do you recall him visiting at the Forum?
The Forum, yes.
Do you recall any visits at the Staples Center?
I don't believe so, but I could be mistaken.
Okay. Now, at some point following you being introduced to Conrad Murray and meeting him, at some point in June 2009, were there a period of days or week where Michael was not showing up to rehearsals?
Yes.
When in June did that take place?
I would say toward the latter part of June,
Okay.
before we went to the Staples.
Okay. So again, with Michael's death being on June 25th, 2009, using that as kind of a marker, was it about the prior week? Is that accurate?
Yes, it would have been days leading up. It was the week before
Okay. So the last week at the Forum?
Yes. Again, approximately, sir.
Okay. And what was your knowledge about Michael missing these rehearsals? I assume you were at the location at the Forum.
Yeah.
Okay. And would you just learn that he's not coming that day, or how would you become aware of it?
I was expecting him each day, and it became this continued absence.
Okay.
And I was only told that it was scheduling.
Okay. Did you have any reason to doubt that at that time?
No.
Now, I want to ask you about Friday, June 19th, 2009, which I believe would have been one of the last rehearsals at the Forum. Do you recall that?
The first witness right now, let's listen in live.
To anybody following this June 19th encounter?
I did.
Okay. And did you, in fact, send an email expressing your concerns?
I did.
You don't have an exhibit. I asked that it be marked Pupils 1 for identification. It appears to be an email from Kenny Ortega to Randy Phillips, dated Saturday, June 20th, 2009 at 2:04 a.m. People's 1.
It's marked.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Mr. Ortega, I'd like to show you People's 1. Do you recognize that email, sir?
Yes.
With the only change, you would agree, is that the actual email addresses have been redacted?
Yes.
But that's an email from you to Randy Phillips on the date I read, June 20th, 2009, in fact, at 2:04 a.m.?
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Yes.
Now, when you wrote this email, what was your frame of mind in regard to Michael's condition?
I was deeply concerned, and I wanted others to know.
And the encounter with Michael that caused you concern was Friday, June 19th. I see this is written, or at least sent, June 20th at 2:04 a.m. So that was a couple hours after the rehearsal?
Yes, I was still at the facility,
Okay.
sitting there in my office, and I wrote it.
Okay. And if you could, Mr. Ortega, could you please read the email out loud?
May I have some water, Your Honor?
Get some for you, absolutely.
Thank you.
Can we do that? You want to wait till you get the water?
That would be
before you start
great.
to
I
read?
appreciate that. Thank you.
Give us a moment.
Michael Jackson's choreographer and friend Ken Ortega very concerned about Michael Jackson's health. This is June 19th. He's going to read that email now. Our continuing coverage of the Conrad Murray trial right here on HLN.
Randy, I will do whatever I can to be of help with the situation. If you need me to come to the house, just give me a call in the morning.
Ken Ortega, the first witness, now testifying about Dr. Murray and his interaction with Dr. Murray at the time that he was very concerned about the health of Michael Jackson. Let's listen in.
Yes.
Okay. And you also indicate that have played the tough love, now or never card. Had you played the tough love, now or never card?
No.
What was that referencing?
I believe that there was a meeting that was held, without my presence, that was about informing Michael that, unless he started to show up at rehearsals, that it was very possible we weren't going to be able to make the goals of the show.
And the goals of the show being what?
Being able to open, in London at the O2.
You also state in this email, quote, "Tonight I was feeding him, wrapping him in blankets to warm his chills, massaging his feet to calm him, and calling his doctor." Again, calling his doctor, is that Conrad Murray?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to reach him that evening?
No, sir.
Finally, it's important for everyone to know, I believe that he really wants this. It would shatter him, break his heart if we pulled the plug. He's terribly frightened. It's all going to go away. When you're referencing, I believe he really wants this, what are you referencing?
Always Michael would talk about how important this was and how we were going to accomplish this, and always just was very positive and optimistic.
Okay. But what is the, he really wants this? What is the this?
The show.
Okay. The tour?
The show. The tour.
Okay. And so when you go on to say it would shatter him, break his heart if we pulled the plug, you're referencing pulling the plug on the tour.
Yeah.
That's yes?
Yes.
And again, the next sentence, he's terribly frightened, it's all going to go away. Again, you're referencing the tour and the production.
Yes.
On that would actually be the same day, Saturday, June 20th, since it was written at 2:04 in the morning. Was a meeting held at the Carrollwood address that you attended?
Yes.
Okay. And had that meeting been previously scheduled?
It was scheduled that day.
Okay. That day meaning Saturday, June 20th?
Yes.
Okay. And how did you become aware of this meeting?
My assistant told me that we'd received a call asking me to be at the house.
Okay. And did you go to Michael's house at Carrollwood?
I did.
Do you recall what time of day it was?
I would say late morning or early afternoon.
And knowing that you had sent this email the night before, or actually that same day, did you know that the meeting was going to center on these concerns, or did you speculate, or what?
The meeting wasn't broken down to me. I assumed that it would be about Michael.
Okay. And when you arrived at 100 North Carrollwood, who was there?
As I best recollect, it was Randy Phillips, Frank DeLeo, Dr. Murray, and Michael.
And when you first then came into this meeting, did you soon learn what the topic was?
Yes.
Okay. And were you confronted by someone?
Yes.
By whom?
Dr. Murray.
And what was the topic, or what was expressed to you by Conrad Murray at this meeting?
He was upset that I didn't allow Michael to rehearse the night before and that I sent him home. And he was upset that he said I should stop trying to be an amateur doctor and psychologist and be the director and allow Michael's health to him. And
Those were the words of Conrad Murray?
as close as I can remember them, yes.
And let me back up for a minute. First you said he was upset that you did not let